Welcome to the History Lord. You join us here today, and we're in my house in lovely Warwickshire. And today we're going to be talking all about nursery rhymes. Well, in particular, the history behind certain nursery rhymes. So here are just a few of them. London Bridge is falling down. Probably one of the most famous nursery rhymes in the world. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. And it tells you subsequent verses, how to build it up, etc., etc. Well, London Bridge is falling down, firstly, is thought to go back to the Viking times in either 1009 or 1012. They're not sure. When the Vikings, it was King Olaf II, assisted the king at the time to knock back the advance of King Canute by actually getting his longships to row up the Thames, attach themselves to the bridge, and then row vigorously away and try and bring the bridge down so Canute and his hordes couldn't cross the Thames. Probably not the best explanation of that. The probable real explanation is that London Bridge wasn't falling down. London Bridge just wasn't being repaired. And like most nursery rhymes, it was a satire. It was to take the mickey out of someone or to draw attention to something that was unjust at the time. Now, it's an explanation of who my fair lady is. And there's a few explanations, but the most probable is that it was the Queen Consort of Henry I, and that was Matilda of Scotland. Now, she was actually in charge. It was the tradition at the time as a toll bridge. London Bridge, you had to pay a farthing, a quarter of a penny, a groat, was an eighth of a penny to cross it, or it was even a halfpenny or a penny to go across with a horse and cart. The money would be then used for the upkeep of the bridge. But it was up to the Queen Consort of how to spend that money. And it's believed that Matilda, rather than spending the money on repairing the bridge, would spend the money on other shiny trinkets and furs and things like that. So over the time, the bridge began to deteriorate and bits of it fell off into the Thames. So London Bridge was falling down when it was actually deteriorating and just crumbling a little bit. There are others who think, though, that My Fair Lady alludes to the Virgin Mary, and the nursery rhyme was actually about the Viking attacks in the 11th century. There's another theory that it was the consort of Henry III, Eleanor of Provence, and it was a similar story. Who had she had control of the tolls of the bridge. It's a similar story to Matilda. Even there are some people in Warwickshire, at least, who think that My Fair Lady could refer to a member of the Lee family who owned Stoneleigh Manor, just north of Warwick. That one is a little bit dubious, but as I say, the most likely person to be My Fair Lady was Queen Matilda of Scotland, the consort of Henry I. Ring a Ring of Roses. There are two schools of thought about Ring of Roses. One suggests that it comes from the French for rose tree, the ring around the rose tree or a bush, and they all fall down was a curtsy, and it was about the French royal court. But the most popular explanation is another rather dark one, I'm afraid, and it goes back to the time of the Great Plague in 1665. A Ring of Roses was alluded to be the rash that started, so it looked like a little ring on your arm or your leg or wherever. A pocket full of posies. People thought that it was miasma that caused the disease, and it was the horrible smells in the air, so they would all carry posies of flowers so they could smell a little bit better, or at least have a more alluring air to smell than the pungent one that was around them. A tissue. That was a sneezing starting, and all fall down. Well, that's self-explanatory. That's when you died. So therefore, Ring of Roses does allude to being about the Great Plague. However, there's always a caveat, isn't there? That theory didn't really start until the 20th century. And it's been a popular version of it ever since, that it was alluding to the actual plague itself. Looking down here at my notes, it was actually no mention of this before 1951, that it was the Great Plague. So whether or not it's partly to do with it, we don't know. But as I say, these things are passed down in history. So it may have been to do with the plague, or it may have been to do with the French court. Who knows? Well, there you are. That's history behind a few nursery rhymes for you to get your teeth into. Thanks for watching. Do hope you enjoy these videos. And if you do, please subscribe and tell your friends as well. If you want to see what we do outside of these videos, please head on to my old website, which is historylord.co.uk, or have a look at Last Line Films. That's James's YouTube and TikTok channel, and that's also his lovely website as well. James, he's the one sat behind the camera. Give us a wave, James.
Hello.
There we are. Lovely. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.